Hope you're doing good. Micah back with another video. Back here to showcase and unbox our brand new car. This is for y'all. We about to do so much in-depth discussions about this vehicle, and as you guys can see, it's a Honda Civic Sport Hatchback. And as you see, you get a lot with these wheels. Look at that profile right there. I mean, I might have to snap that. I mean, that's, why not? I gotta get that. Yes, we are here talking about the Honda Civic and what this car is providing in this day and age of 2024. Now, that previous car I had, you guys know I had a 2016 Dodge Dart. I finally changed over to the Honda Civic 2024, really to bring today's technology to you guys. What are we getting for 2024 in terms of safety features? What are we getting in terms of trim levels? Well, as you guys can see by the title of the video, I titled this the iPhone of the car industry, the Apple company of the car industry. And we're going to get into a lot of those reasons why. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, the notification bell. It's all free. That was my video, so you and I can sit back, check, see what's cracking. So without further ado, let's get into the video. And the first thing we're going to talk about is some of what's pleasing to the eye. We got this platinum white paint color. And if you guys notice, if you guys get real close on it, let me go ahead and change my camera here. As you guys can see, there's sparkles. It's like this, it feels porcelain, like porcelain white. And so that's something that I really, really appreciate, that I really, really like about the Honda Civic and that color. I'm not one that usually goes for white, but that white is beautiful right now. And so that's the color we have. We have black side view mirrors, a little bit of driving, but good. See, it wipes right on off. We have all black rims, fire 18 inches. You're looking at 235 with 40 wall size. It's Goodyear all season tires, 18-inch rims, beautiful. Got the Honda logo on the front, honeycomb grill, really nice size radiator, no intercooling, no. Those look like fog lamps, so it might be faux fog lamps, and that means I can insert them if I want to at another time. You get LED lights, tail lights, and headlights, but I believe the turn signals, if not in the front, in the back, and this is where the beauty is, that back, look at that behind on her. All right, so the turn signal may be halogen, but the rest is indeed LED. And that is a Honda Civic Sport for you. Now, I got a great deal on this down here in Warner Robins / Bonaire, Georgia. Hughes Honda. Shout out to them. Shout out to Ronnie and Eddie, the finance guys, and Jessica, who was our salesperson, who did a tremendous job helping us with this. This is such a beautiful car, a great new starting point for us all in terms of a new car, brand new tech. So without further ado, let's get into the engine. And so why not pop the hood so we can get and see what that looks like here. And so we're gonna open the door. You get keyless entry, so you don't have to press the unlock button. You got your key fob right here. This beautiful key fob right here. You get your lock, unlock, press and hold for engine start or remote start, your trunk button, and your panic hold button to get into the car. You do not have to press anything. If the car was off, right now it's on. If it was off, it would chirp, letting you know you can come in. You got this button right. It's kind of, you guys can see, it's, you hear that? Maybe you heard that a little bit, but that's to lock the car, or really to unlock the car. So upon opening it, you get a nice little chirp there as well. And down here at the bottom, you will see the trunk button. Pull it, there you go. Nice little thud. She is beeping. Let's see here. There's a lever right here. You pull in, and you should be able to lift the hood. Now look at this beautiful clean engine in here. Honda Civics are very customizable. This engine is running a naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, CVT, something that I'm also gonna have to get used to. This looks like this is the air intake right here. So something I'll immediately have fun with is customizing the inside of this car. One of the most customizable cars on the market. And that's what we got going on right here. And that's what I like. So this is the inside here. Plenty of space to get your workout, on the inside if you want to do customizations, and that's what we'll be doing inside this car. And that's pretty much the engine. You got 158 horsepower and 133 pound-feet of torque. So nimble and quick, not necessarily warring off of the drag strip. And that's where the customization comes into play with the Honda Civic. Now back on the outside, we have a push to open, and I believe it might lock depending on the condition of the car. Capless, but you get a nice system here for gas, natural, or unleaded plus, right? Or unleaded right there. And in terms of the look, it's got that hatchback, so you get plenty of view from the back. It adds additional style to the car. So again, that's what I like about it. I like the hatchback. This was also the only Honda Civic model they had. Honda doesn't get a lot of these because of production and high demand value. You get a dual piston set up in the front in terms of your brakes, and you get single piston back here in the back for your brakes. Again, very clean, very nice. As you see by the back windshield, you do get a wiper, and as we open the inside, you will see some more of what's going on. But here's one of the things I wish they started giving us more often when it comes to the car. I wish they put better tint on. As you guys can see, you can see straight through the car. Even Candace wants more tint. Candace called the tint company this morning, and the tint will be coming in the future for the vehicle. We're gonna journey and document what we do to this vehicle and what it's like taking care of a car over the time of its lifespan. And I'm looking at least 6 years with this car. I think a decade. So, you know, every decade, it's probably not a bad idea to update your car. So whether it's 2020 to 2030, 2030 to 2040, so on and so forth. This is 2024, so I realistically wouldn't try to update again until 2030 or 2034. I think that's a good barometer when it comes to technology, safety features, and the like. Now, let's get on the inside. So as we go in the front, you might hear some air on because it's warm outside. As you see, you get hard plastic, but it's nice, it's black, and that's what I like as well. You get this nice little inseam panel, but there's a trim level where this is ambient lighting on the inside. Get a nice pull lever, your unlock indicator right there. Nice cloth stitching, feels really good. Automatic up and down for the front windows, and manual up and down for the back windows. You got your lock button, a window lock button, your unlock and lock button, your side view mirror controls right here. And moving away from the door and checking out the seat, now you guys can see it's more realistic to what it looks like in the car. Now back in the car, as you guys can see, we get dope honeycomb grills throughout the entire car for the ventilation system. The problem with this ventilation system is you can't, it's hard to use car mounts. So I have an old car mount here, by the way. I like the storage space you get with the armrest. So upon lifting that up, as you guys can see, you got this right here. It's like a little tray for change and whatnot. You can remove it, and now you have a pretty deep space in here for stuff. Now, here's my Pataka car mount, and the current car mount I have will not work. You see that? Now, the older actual mount might actually insert into here. So it actually might still work with this vent, but it will have to go kind of far back, and it depends on how deep these vents actually go. So let's put this back in here so we can continue the conversation about the car. As you see with the center console here, you get this beautiful, they say it's plastic, but it feels a little more sturdy, a little more robust than plastic. I was gonna say carbon fiber because it looks like that, but I can't quite tell. I do know it feels really good. Cup holders fit about 24 to 30 ounces worth of drinks. You get two of them up here in the front. You got your drive modes. This car comes with Econ, Normal, and Sport mode. Each mode offering a slightly different level of comfort and responsiveness when it comes to the engine. Since I am sitting around, let's see if I can get it. I'm sitting around 48 miles right now. I will not be really going hard on sport until like after 500 to 1,000 miles. Right now I'm doing Econ mode until 100 miles, and I'm gonna drive more normal between 100 and 500 miles, and then between 500 and 1,000, more normal and sport. And then after 1,000, you're probably gonna find me driving sport a whole lot more often. But straightening up the wheel here, as you guys can see, the instrument cluster is beautiful. You get an idea of what the car looks like. We have the door open, therefore it shows it's open. You have your time right there. You have the speedometer. You have your odometer. You have what mode you're driving in, econ, 40 miles, what gear shift position, which is park, gas, full. And once I close the door, now you'll see my range. And what I love is that the range actually fluctuates. So I had a few different Volkswagen Jettas, and that range would change based off of how well your gas mileage was doing. And so that number can go up and down. And I hope I ain't got no bees in here because I saw something flying. I saw a shadow. And you get your average fuel. I've restarted this journey, this A trip, to reflect my gas mileage on econ mode. And then once I reach 100 miles or so, the next 100 miles I'm gonna use a B trip, use normal, and then record how well I do in terms of my average fuel there. You have your seatbelt icon, and as you guys can see, I don't have my seatbelt on. They have raised the power and the limits of the Honda Civics in recent times. That's why you see 160 miles that it tops out at, which is really nice because that's something I, of course, would love to experiment with down the road. And I'm glad that you can do this in this nice, nimble car. Steering wheel wise, it's leather wrapped. A little slippery, or it feels a little weird against the touch when you're doing a lot of driving. So I will be getting a steering wheel cover here shortly. Honda logo on the airbag / horn. You got your controls, your seek or your next and previous buttons for controlling your music, your source, which is radio, media, this, that, and the third, probably CarPlay as well. Your volume, rocker, up and down, your wheel to control your instrument cluster, your home button, your voice navigation button. So this car does have CarPlay and Android Auto. If you have your active cruise control, you can cancel it. You can control how fast or slow to drive it. You can also control the distance at which the car will change the speed of the car based on how far or how close you are to the vehicle in front of you. That's what this is for. And then you have active or lane keeping assisting, basically. So if you turn this on, you'll see an icon pop up there, as you saw flick on, and you'll get a little steering torque assistance when staying in your lane. And then of course all you gotta do is press it again and it'll go off. Now back over here we have a few more buttons, and if you guys see, we have our light indicator to change lights right here, and I'm going to keep them at the maximum brightness for now. And then you see you have your Honda sensing button, which will let you know the safety features that you currently have in the car and what is currently activated versus deactivated. And then you have your traction control. So if I click Honda sensing, you're going to see it pop up, and we have in this vehicle road departure mitigation, which means it will help you stay on the road. And then we have collision mitigation braking system, which essentially helps you brake even more to help prevent or reduce the collateral damage or collision damage upon actually colliding with somebody. And then all we have to do is press home, or actually press the button again, and it goes away. I thought we would have had a few more features because Honda does offer a ton of safety features like blind spot monitoring and stuff like that, and I wish it was in this vehicle and it would have popped up in the side view mirror, but unfortunately it doesn't have it. But I'm also fine with what I currently have in this vehicle with those two safety features. Now, the radio. And upon backing back out, we have a nice 7-inch display here. It looks pretty good, doesn't get in the way of viewing the road, which is nice. And if you see it's flickering, it's because it's probably operating around 60 frames per second. I'm shooting in 30 frames per second, so don't be alarmed. My radio is working just fine. There's two ways to actually hook up your phone, and this is where I'm going to nitpick, and this is where you get the first glimpse into Honda and the Honda Civic being the Apple and iPhone of the car industry and the vertical business model. So we have a 7-inch display here. You have the ability to phone, media, connect. Well, I have it on media right now because my phone is Bluetoothed in. I'm currently recording with it. But if I wanted to access CarPlay, I have to wire in, and then I can hit the connect button and it will pop up CarPlay or Android Auto. Yes. So I have access to Android Auto in this car, but I have to wire in via the aux cord. Otherwise, I could just play my media as is. With Android Auto and or CarPlay, you are able to use your phone's navigation stuff, such as Google Maps, Apple Maps, YouTube Music, Apple Music. If you actually want to jump back to the radio, maybe I'll cut this and bring it to the front when I was talking about the radio. If we go into settings, I'm gonna hit the 2 so you guys can see this here. Okay, now if I hit settings, sound is where you control your bass, your balance, your fader, and your speed volume compensation. Then you press the back button if you no longer care to be in there. Bluetooth settings, you click on it. It's also touchscreen. You can connect new device, you can change the device, you can add a or you can decide on a priority device, meaning what phone connects the most, let it be ready to connect to that. The beautiful thing about Honda's radio is that A, the touch display is very, very responsive, and B, the Bluetooth connecting or connectivity is super crazy fast. Now, maybe you guys are it's normal, you guys are used to it, but in my Dodge Dart, that would take forever. It got a lot better once we got newer iPhones or like newer technology. For whatever reason, it connected a lot faster, but it's blazing fast. I don't know if this car has Bluetooth 5.3 or if most cars now do come with Bluetooth 5.3, which maybe adds to that super fast connectivity. But that's what you get here in your Bluetooth settings. You can disconnect all devices, you can delete devices, this, that, and the third. Hit the back, and then clock settings. You see, you can just click on it right there. Automatic time, daylight savings time is on. You can set your time zone, and all that's taken care of, thankfully, automatically. If you don't want automatic, you can change it if you want. I'm gonna leave it in automatic. If we go here to smartphone settings, this is where you can control your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So if I go to my iPhone, I can delete, but I can't connect, and that's because I'm not wired in. So if you guys thought I was playing, you have to be wired in for Android Auto and CarPlay. So let's go ahead and back up, and I probably will bring my Samsung in here to set that up to see what that looks like. I would like to do that. So now, RDS settings, what does this mean? That's RDS information. I still don't actually know what that means. I have to look that up in the manual. Maybe I'll come back and say something about that. You can adjust your display by clicking on the brightness levels, your contrast, and your black level. So what's nice is during the day, night, or day, you can adjust your black levels. So you might still want it nice and dark even during the day. I like that. And then contrast, let's add a little contrast. I like that. Hit the back, come back. Touch panel sensitivity is normal. Now maybe if you have gloves on because it's cold, you can raise the touch sensitivity. I don't have to do that. But here's the thing that I really liked in this car was the rear camera settings. So this is where I instantly improved my backing up, because out of the box, dynamic guidelines is on, and it completely throws off trying to back up in this vehicle. I didn't have dynamic guidelines where they moved as you backed up on my Dodge Dart. It had fixed lines. It was perfect to maneuver, and knowing the space in my car, knowing the shape and how much room I really had to go, I could always park perfectly, reverse park perfectly, back up park perfectly. I got in this car, couldn't do that no more with the dynamic guidelines. I turned that off and I kept the fixed guidelines on. But what I was also able to do was, upon putting it into reverse now, as you guys can see here, I have it on the middle one. This right here is perfect. I don't need it on the wide one. It's doing way too much. This is perfect. This gives me real-time familiarity with the cars back in and where I'm at when backing into a parking spot. And I suggest everybody use this one. That's just my advice. Going back into park, going back into the settings, we have rear camera. You can change your language, and the license essentially just explains that the open source software on here, includes certain software, and the license that could be shown at the website there. So nothing that you really have to worry about. And then you can factory reset, of course, if you wanted to. You have navigation right here, and this car does have a level of GPS satellite because of navigation, because in your instrument cluster, it will show your speed in the area that you're driving through. So this will constantly change. So if it's 35 miles an hour, and I think there's cameras around the car that may recognize, of course, signs that may also help with that. But if it's 35 miles an hour, it will pop up in there 35 miles an hour. If it's 45, it'll change to 45. So stay updating as much as it can in your instrument panel. And you'll also see when you're driving in econ mode, that bar you see right underneath average fuel, that's a bar that will fluctuate, showing you how well you're doing when it comes to fuel efficiency. So it's also nice to see that there. As I mentioned, with the lights on the outside, you do have auto high beam, which means it will automatically trigger if it gets real dark or if another car is coming through, or it will calm down the auto high beam. And then of course, by pulling this towards you, you can flash, and by pushing it forward, you can actually turn on your high beams. You have your control for your lights over here. Otherwise, you have auto, you have basically daytime running lights, and then your high beams. You can have them all completely off. And this is your turn signal. You can tap it down and it'll give you like a 2 to 3 second blink. And maybe that's just for you to initiate or indicate you're trying to lane switch left or right. Or you can pull it all the way down or pull it all the way up to leave your turn signal in a constant motion. On this side, and yes, we also have triggers here, which is interesting. Driving sport mode and manual, you have 7 speeds that you can use for these to downshift and upshift, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if I'm ever going to use these, but it is a nice little aesthetic. I prefer to just drive in sport mode and do my thing. It's just, yeah, so it'd be drive, yeah, sport mode and M or something like that. And I don't even know if this car is equipped with that because I haven't tried, but that is what it is. And you also get your temperature right there, 76 degrees. I wonder if that's inside because it feels a little warmer than that outside. You do have a 12-volt charger right here. And back over here to the center control panel, you have auto assist or auto idle stop. So this button, turning it on or off, will help you will help the engine turn on and off. And the 12-volt battery under the hood is specifically designed to work with this auto idle stop, auto engine idle stop. And you have to make sure that if you ever have to change a battery, make sure you get the correct battery that can handle this, because otherwise this may not work, or you may wear out your battery a lot faster and be constantly switching out batteries. What this does is, if you leave it on and leave it on auto, whenever you come to a stop, the car may shut the engine off and then cut it back on to resume driving. And you'll notice it most often in econ mode. In econ mode, and of course it depends on how much climate control is going on, the temperature of the engine, that will influence that. But in econ mode, it's going to happen the most when you come to a stop, at a stoplight, let's say, or maybe even in traffic. You may hear your engine cut on and cut off often. Now, it also still depends on your environment, because you have cameras and all that will assess, that will help determine whether or not the engine does need to cut on or cut off. And so by having this on, it will do it automatically by itself. Now, if you don't want the engine to ever really cut off, and you just want one constant motion, you only want to cut it off when you press your remote, your start, or keyless entry start, then just turn this off, and you won't ever have to worry about your engine turning off on you, turning back on. But you never notice. It's super seamless. As soon as you press go, the engine cuts on, and it's like near instantaneous, so you never have to really worry about that. It does kind of freak you out at first. You're like, is the engine cutting on and off? And for me, I was using brake hold, and I thought brake hold was causing the engine to cut on and cut off. It was not. And so I was kind of scaring myself with that. Brake hold allows you to come to a complete stop at a stop sign, in a drive-through, in a stop and go situation. And once you come to a complete stop, the car will hold the brake for you, so you can take your foot off of the beautiful aluminum sport pedals that you get in this car as well. So if I come to a stop, I can take this off and it will brake hold for me, and you will get an icon down here. So for now, I have to have my seatbelt on. So as you guys can see, so let's put the seatbelt on to initiate, and see, it gives you many warnings, and you have certain conditions that need to be met in order to take advantage of some of these features. Now that the seatbelt's on, if I press it, you see brake hold is now on. So let's say I put it in drive, and now see, now I'm in drive. My foot's off of everything. You see it's in drive, and you see that it is brake holding right there. So if I zoom in, it's holding the brake. So this is the advantage of brake hold, and it will just sit there until you're ready to go. And all I have to do, if I press back or press all the way back, all I have to do in this case is put my foot on the gas pedal, and it will drive. And then once I come to a complete stop, it will hold the brake again. I can take my foot off, and I'm good to go. That is the beauty of brake hold, and I really like that feature. Now, if you was to take your seatbelt off, like if I was to do that now, and I took my seatbelt off, it would disengage brake hold, and you would have to put your foot back on the brake. So keep in mind certain things like that, the hood being opening the car door and all that. That stuff will affect your brake hold. Just if I were you, just use it normally. You know, if you stop and go traffic, or just when you're driving, you can have it on, and it's a process you have to train your mind to, because it is something that you don't really think about when it comes to these new technologies. And also, like, you get this nice white accenting on the side of your instrument cluster panels. But it's something I'm already trying to train myself to do, knowing I'm gonna use brake hold. I'll put it in brake, or I'll drive, come to a stop, and let the car brake itself, and then all I gotta do is reinitiate or re-engage driving by just stepping on the gas pedal. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, you get all these dope features, these dope safety features, you get the nice look of the car, but you don't get wireless CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. What are we doing? Like, that's one of the things that you can nitpick on that just makes no sense, especially when purchasing a car. And you could call it a nitpick, but these kind of decisions really make or break people wanting to buy cars, because you do get wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto when you step up in trim. I think if it's not the Sport Touring, it's like the EXL model, where you finally do have access to wireless Android Auto and wireless CarPlay. Speaking of another feature that you don't get in the car, typically there's a button over here for your trunk to open the trunk. Somewhere, a lever. So, this car does not have an inside button for the trunk. You heard it here. Another Apple/iPhone move is to leave out something super essential and super basic. And I don't know if it's actually on any of the trims. And there's really no reason not to have it, because it's just access to the trunk. Yes, you can argue that if you're gonna go to the trunk, you're gonna get out and go back there anyway, and so you might as well just push the button underneath the trunk, which I can show you here once we get back to the trunk. So let's demonstrate that real quick. So either the key fob with the trunk, as I showed you before, or come back here, and right dead center there's a button, and open the trunk. So if somebody's back here, they can do that themselves, or you can come back here and do it. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's not like the end of the world, but it's still kind of like, how do you not have a trunk button inside the car? That's just, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. So before we get to the trunk, that pretty much wraps up the inside. And of course you have your little vent controls here to control the flow of air. Let's close that. Let's jump into the back. Now, this seat's all the way back, because this is where I sit. The seat's all the way back as far as it can go. Once I get in, I still have plenty of room. This is what I like about the hatchback. So as you guys can see, I still got knee space. I'm 6'1", and I have plenty of head space. Plenty of headspace still. I can sit back, I can lay back, actually go to sleep back here. It is very comfortable back here for a 6'1" person to sit in the back of a Honda Civic Sport Hatchback and have no complaints. But the complaints that I do have is in the back seat, there's no temperature control, there's no vents, there's no cup holders, nice leather here. Seats are made real nice. But again, we got all these crazy advanced features up in the front for the most part. You get cool stuff with this car. You get a great look, but you get in the car and it's kind of empty. How is it that you don't supply cup holders? The only way you really get cup holders is right here, your little side pocket, right? Your door pocket. That's a potential cup holder, and don't have a big cup basically. You get similar made stuff back here. It fits the arm very well. You can sit back here and relax. Very nice, very firm. Very nice. It's very nice. Got your button to control your window. Very beautiful. And again, similar build materials as the front door in terms of the aesthetic. You have a speaker here and a speaker here. Now, I don't know if sound travels between these two or that's 2 individual speakers. The car in total has 8 speakers. So as you guys can see, if you look forward, if that's 1, that's 2. So multiply that by 2. So you got 4 up in the front, 4 up in the back. 8 speakers reside within this sport hatchback. Now, I don't know if you go higher, you get Bose speakers, and you may get an additional 2 that sit in the back. Back to the trunk, you have 26-ish cubic feet as is, and probably without this sleeve here. And this is, okay, there we go. So I couldn't get this to work before, but this is removable. You can swap this, put this on this side, or put it on this side, I believe. But all you gotta do is lift up, slide it back. You wanna bring it out, hook it in, you're good. Great hidden protection for items and material you'll have in your trunk, so that way you can't see it when this is closed, and you have a handle right here. You can also pull the trunk down, which is nice. But 26-ish cubic feet in the back. You fold the 2 seats down, it turns into about 46 cubic feet, and I think you can probably fit a 65-inch TV if you did that in the sport hatchback. Yes, you heard it here. You can fit a big old TV in your car. In terms of the bottom of the trunk, I always keep me jumper cables in my car. In terms of, okay, flies, go away. You have right here, you gotta figure out how to open this. There we go. So you pull this, up. As you guys can see, we got the fixer flat and or the, oh my goodness. I forgot what that's called, but the spare tire and the, oh my Lord. The tie rod, what is it called again? No, I don't be doing that on a regular, because thankfully roadside assistance, and I've always been blessed to have a good working car, and I never take that for granted. And this is my own random stuff, and that is a lever right there to pull or to hook onto right there. You want to lower the seats. I think you pull this lever right here, and you pull this lever right here. So again, in order to access pushing the seats down, you got to come through the trunk. In my Dodge Dart, you can just pull the seats forward. So again, subtle differences, but we're looking at 8 years in the past with my Dodge Dart, and we are current today with the 2024 Honda Civic. Good thud. And before we go, as you hear it, it's tripping because I'm not in the car. Faux exhaust. There's no real exhaust there. You actually only get 1 exhaust tip, which is right there. That's the 1 exhaust tip you get. Now that's something I'm gonna miss. So you don't have one on that side. Of course, aftermarket wise, I could do something like that. But unfortunately, you only get 1 exhaust tip. And my Dart had 2. So that's something I'm gonna miss in my life. But it doesn't mean it will be gone forever. And of course, you got your hazard button right here. So that is the 2024 Honda Civic Sport Hatchback, and some of the explanations of some of the safety features and that what you get in this car. What did I pay for this? And as you guys can see right here, I've been studying this manual, trying to understand the ins and outs of this new technology. I feel like an old person jumping in this car. I almost didn't want it no more because I was like, there's too much new going on. Too much new. My sticker price was $27,900. It's $27,000. $27,900. Beautiful, beautiful car. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful paddle shifter. That's what that was called. Sorry. And then front McPherson strut suspension, rear multi-leak suspension, hill start assist, electric power steering, and of course that sport mode which we talked about. Get a bunch of airbags as well over here, as you guys see, and a rear view camera. So that is it for the car. The things you continue to learn about the car. So I knew I put stuff in the back seat because when I turned the car off, an indication popped up, check rear seats, because I threw stuff in the back seat, stuff that's actually probably going to stay back there momentarily, but it reminded me to check my rear seats. That is amazing. You potentially can change your keyless entry. I don't know if that's the case, because I don't actually know whether or not it will lock itself if I left the car long enough. I know it will automatically unlock when I open the car door, but I don't know if it will lock itself once I'm away. That's something I don't know, and I didn't see it in the settings. So maybe I can call and ask them about it, or maybe I just don't have that feature on this car. Maybe it's a different car, different trim level. So that's one of the things I don't 100% know about, but that is the vehicle in itself right there. And the last thing to show you guys is you get your passenger warning right here. The airbag, no need for it because there's nobody sitting over there. Great, and you just get plenty of indications in this car. The airflow is very nice, very breezy, feels very good. And maybe I will try the other, but see, I couldn't even put it right there. I couldn't put it right there. I'd have to put it somewhere in here and it would block the air. So maybe if I put it in here where it's right underneath the display, I could have my phone re-popped up. The nice part about it is this tray is long enough to fit my iPhone 15 Pro. Now, a bigger phone like a 6.7 inch and up might actually kind of lean against this a little bit or whatever, but my size phone fits in here perfectly. Higher trim levels have wireless charging right here. And again, think about some of these advanced features that you get with the instrument cluster, driving, some of the things in the radio, CarPlay, and all that type of stuff. If you're going to take functionality away with your vents, the least you can do is give us certain other, like, to circumvent that with certain other features. Why hold that feature to the next trim level or 2 trim levels up? The vertical business model plays us with simple features, especially here in the Honda Civic. So it's those little things that I like to nitpick about and kind of voice frustration over, because if you're going to give us some of this stuff, or a lot of this year, or in the sport hatchback as well, because this is not the base trim, I don't believe. It's a sport hatchback. These features should be more in here, and then like go berserk with other things. Like, I have no sunroof in here, no more sunroof. I've had a sunroof for about 10 years. No sunroof, and you can get that at a higher trim level. That I'm not so mad about, but Volkswagen gives you a sunroof in like one of their base trim levels of their Jettas. So again, it's just like Volkswagen is kind of like the Samsung of the car industry, where they will feature pack it in the very beginning. You don't have to worry about trying to super spec it up. Honda, the opposite. They are confused and wonky with certain features that they give you. And so that's what I wanted to bring to you guys here. Sorry for a few of those audio issues as well. When I turned the camera to face me, my microphone was facing the other direction, so my audio probably dipped a little bit on some of those moments. So now I'm actually using the front-facing camera to record this with my iPhone 15 Pro. Hope you guys appreciate this video. Like I said, we're going to be bringing a lot more content to the channel when it comes to cars, specifically with this 2024 Honda Civic, because this is the car I'm choosing for the channel to rock with and to document. It's going to be a limited series, and so I hope you guys will stay tuned, enjoy, leave comments down in the comment section below about the Honda. Do you have one? How long have you had one? The things you experienced that were good and bad, aftermarket accessories to think about to equip and accessorize and spec out the Honda Civic. I will be interested in all of that, and I will be looking into adding polishes to maintain the upkeep of the vehicle internally or interiorly and exteriorly. So that's something I'm also going to be doing with this vehicle, and we'll be showcasing that on the channel as well, cleaning the vehicle, how to clean it, this, that, and the third. So hopefully you guys appreciate this content. Let me know down in the comment section below all you guys' thoughts. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, notification bell, so I'll free up some videos, so you and I can sit back, check, see what's cracking. So, man, Micah signing out. To the next video. Wait for